Recently, the creator of Dragon Ball sadly passed away, and honestly I can think of no piece of art or media that had as big of an influence on me growing up as the Dragon Ball Z anime show from the late 90s, early 2000s. So today I'm going to be making some music for Dragon Ball Z, specifically taking inspiration from the Bruce Faulconer soundtrack, which had an awesome blend of 80s style synths, heavy rock guitars, and classic orchestral elements to create an absolutely epic space warrior anime soundtrack. So let's dive straight into it. So I'm going to do 3 different tracks, all different vibes hopefully. And for the first one, I'm going to do a classic sort of Dragon Ball Z rock drums synth track with some guitars. So I'm just starting off with this drum loop, which is like a basic rock drum loop. So just a basic loop, but I feel like in a lot of the Dragon Ball Z tracks you would hear this just underlying everything. Now for the synth sounds, I'm going to be using a lot of Massive and Omnisphere. Instantly getting that space sound, I feel like.
Quiet, boy! Where is your honor? Like all pure-blooded Saiyans, Kakarot would rather die fighting than win with one of those disgraceful senzu beans as his crutch. Kakarot trained in the hyperbolic time chamber just as we did. Now let's see what he can do.
No, we can't! Goku doesn't have the strength!
So a basic progression, focusing the bass notes on the D sharp and the C sharp. I feel like this already sounds perfect. We'll layer some more chords now on top of this.
If this goes on, then he will die. But that will be his decision. It is painfully clear at this point that no one among this group is stronger than Kakarot is.
So you can see I'm recording things with no real intention behind it at the moment, just solely based on vibe. It's all about the feeling it gives me, trying to recreate the same feels that I did watching the show a good 25 years ago. So sounding pretty good. Let's do some strings now, sticking with Analog Lab.
Not even myself. So he deserves to have the fight of a true warrior. And that means to the death.
While we all just stand here and watch? I won't be part of it!
Aren't you the one who has never stopped talking about how great a hero Kakarot is?
Next up, I want to throw in a tubular bell. This is a very specific sound that you hear in the Dragon Ball Z soundtrack a lot. Specifically, if you think of the Vegeta theme track. Which is like the most epic part of the entire soundtrack. Again, copying that same progression that I've been playing in pretty much every instrument. Then we just need to add a guitar and a bass line, then I think we can move on to the next one. While I've got you, I want to ask for a quick favor. If you enjoy listening to like ambient, electronic, weird music, something to listen to late at night while you're driving or something like that, check me out on Spotify, just search UndaSkore. I've got tracks that I'm releasing, I've got some old tracks on there. Some of it might be your vibe, it might not be, but please go check it out. If you like it, make sure you give me a follow on there too, appreciate it. Alright, time for some real guitar. Just gonna use Guitar Rig.
I decided to continue my training in the solitude of space, where I would be unhindered by the distractions of the Earth. And when a violent electrical storm erupted in the skies of the planet I was on, I welcomed it. It seemed fitting, like it was an outward manifestation of the storm that was raging inside of me.
And then we'll do one more layer of like some higher end soloing, shredding, something.
Then something just snapped, something inside of me. No, no more! That's it! I don't care! I didn't care anymore. I didn't care about being better than Kakarot. I didn't care about being a Super Saiyan. I didn't care if I lived. I didn't care about anything. And then
So the idea is just creating all these layers on top of each other so they work well together, but then you can arrange them and have different sections at different times and it still will sound good. So next, let's just record in a bass line for this, and I just want to use a bass guitar. I'm gonna use a really basic one shot for this.
I didn't care if I lived. I didn't care about anything. And then it happened. Yes, that's how it happened. That's how I became a Super Saiyan.
Now I'm going to move on to the next track, essentially, which is going to be a more sort of classical orchestration, I feel like. So to do this, let's just start off with some effects and percussion just to set the sort of mood a bit. Oh yeah. We'll get the rhythm going and then we can add some percussive elements. Just going to do this. Just hold down the one note. Put in some taikos. If you don't know what they are, it's basically one of those sounds that you're going to hear all the time in like movie scores, in trailers and stuff like that. Again, another percussive layer, we're going to add in a timpani hit, which is from an orchestra. You know that is good. So we just put these crazy pitch bends in there. Let's make it a bit more futuristic and spacey. So now for this final section, I'm thinking of like a scene where there's like a sacrifice or something like that. You know, like when Majin Vegeta sacrifices himself against Buu, which is one of the most epic moments of the entire show. We're going to go into this progression. So a nice little progression there that's sort of tinged with sadness. Now if we just copy that with the synth bass. We'll have the taikos come in halfway, and I want to add in another percussive layer just to add a bit more to the groove. Pretty cool, but let's try a halftime on it. A little shaper box. So it makes it a bit more modern, but I think it still works. Now I just want to keep adding more layers to this section following the progression, so we'll do the same with the timpani.
For the first time ever, Vegeta is going to be fighting on behalf of someone other than himself. And sadly, it'll cost him his life.
And as easy as that, we've now got a fully fleshed out section here.
The key to defeating you is to obliterate you so completely, your regeneration won't be possible.